What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's showtime, and it is the Blazer King here with King's Critiques once again to review some more anime in bulk, alphabetically, because that is a thing I decided to start doing to try and catch up to everything I've watched in the past to the best of my memory, and if I'm wrong, I'll go to rewatch it and do a review on it freshly watched if you guys would like, or just, to try and get all these out before continuing on with new shows, like I really need to finish watching ReZero. Which, on that topic, we're going to start off with the D's with Dagashi Kashi, which is a comedic kind of anime, a little bit of ecchi here and there, about a boy who's going to inherit his grandfather's candy shop. At least I'm pretty sure that's what the plot was. And, well, as well as having a friend who helps out around the shop once in a while. There's a girl who comes around who's from the rival candy shop, I think she was. Or she's there to, like, tutor him to take over the shop. I don't recall 100%. I watched this, like, a couple of years ago or something. Another one of those I don't remember completely off the top of my head, but I'm going to do the best I can because a lot of these shows are pretty damn good. But I try not to read the synopsis if I can to see how well I actually do remember what the show is about. And, well, like I said, it's a comedic show, kinda. Some parts are ecchi because, the girl who is supposed to be teaching him or tutoring him or his rival or it's one of those things I don't remember has some, to use a word, sweet titties. Hashtag anime boobs and all that stuff. But, yeah. And the show's like 12 or so episodes long, so it's definitely worth watching if you like the comedic genre of anime where they're short but sweet, to use that joke again, like in the same basic paragraph of words that I'm using here. Yeah. I say that way too much. I really need to cut back on doing that, but when I'm kind of losing my train of thought, that's what I do. You have your generic, like, beach scene, I think, and, some questionable interactions between the main girl and the friend, and the friend and the main guy, and the guy and the main girl. It's just a whole bunch of... It's a good show, though. Like, if you have a few hours to kill, go check it out, watch it. It's pretty good. If you don't care for some aesthetics from it, that happens. But it's from one of the better animation companies around, so I'd say it's worth it. But we're gonna end off with a go watch it, it is worth it, and move on to Danganronpa, which is the next one of these, of the letter D. The first season of Danganronpa, the one that's based off from the first game, and I haven't played the game yet. I will be playing the game for the channel here soon because I own it, so why the hell not? Just like a couple of other Danganronpa games I own over there. And I keep reflecting back to, like, Akuma no Riddle or Assassination Classroom, because it's kind of close, but it's more of a murder mystery type of thing instead of I guess you are supposed to kill each other in the show, because that is the thing Monokuma tells them. But they're trying to figure out how to get out without killing everybody else, and, well, low-key, that doesn't really work out. Because, every couple episodes somebody dies, they need to run a trial, figure out who it is, and, well, if they get it wrong, everybody dies. If they get it right, just the person who did the killing dies. And that is some high stakes. There's a couple of twists and curveballs thrown in here and there. Siblings, identity swaps, somebody uploading themselves onto a computer. Some weird shit, but honestly, it's one of my favorite shows over the past decade or two. to say the least. I really wish I could find an anime for the second game. Like, some sources say there is one, other sources say there is not. So if you know where I can find it, comment down below and help a brother out. But as far as if you should watch it or not, definitely. 100%. If you like things like the aforementioned anime or like Case Closed / Detective Conan or something like that, totally check it out. It is 100% worth it. Especially when you sit there and try to figure out who did the murders with the people in the show. That just turns into something really interesting. Kind of like if you were playing the game. But obviously I haven't played the game yet. Honestly, I wonder how seeing the anime versus playing the game will be. Because obviously I can't just be like, oh yeah, I know who did it. It was that person. Because that would make things way too easy, wouldn't it? But, yeah, definitely go watch it, check it out, and all that stuff. Anyway, next up, we have Darling in the FranXX, which there's a lot to this show to question. Like, it's kind of your generic mech anime, but it's also not, because it has some mildly, like, I guess one could say lewd situations, because you need a guy and a girl to pilot the mech, and it kind of looks like the guy is railing the girl from behind while they're piloting the mech, but I'm, mm. But that little tidbit aside, the show mainly focuses on our main character, who I completely forgot the name of, and his inability to find a proper partner without hurting them, which, by the way, if partners aren't compatible, they get physically hurt while riding, so that's also a thing that's kind of similar to real life, ain't it? But eventually, a pink-haired girl comes along by the name of 02, and, well, she's his perfect partner, so it would seem. And of course, you know, the first time they interact is him finding her naked, because it's one of those things, but it has a mix of, obviously, the mech genre and a little bit of comedy here and there, a lot of romance, and a little bit of depression, too. Like, think of Evangelion, but better. Like, as far as depression versus cool shit going on. So, it's like 12 episodes long, something like that, I think. Right? Pretty sure. Pretty sure it's only 12. Oh, it was 24. I was completely wrong. But even though I'm wrong and it was a longer anime, I think remember thinking while it was airing that it would be 12 episodes, but it, yeah, twice as long. But it's one of those anime I was watching as it came out back when I had the time to do that kind of thing with a lot of different shows. So I, based on just that fact, I'd obviously say to go check it out, you know. It's one of the higher rated anime of recent history. So go check it out, watch it, enjoy it. You'll love it, I promise. But yeah, there's just so many aspects to this one that make it so good. So I'm just gonna leave it at that and move into another newer anime than that, Darwin's Game. Which how do I put how do I put this one? Um, have you ever seen Mirai Nikki? Um, if you ever saw Mirai Nikki and shows like that, where cell phones basically create a game for you. I know that's not technically how it worked. Well, I mean, long run, that's not how it worked, but short term, it did. And give you, like, superpowers or something. except for this time the phone isn't your power, it actually gives you powers. Yeah, that's basically what this is. You need to hunt down, team up with people sometimes, fight alone most of the time, kill other people, and it's kind of like a gotcha game. Like, not a gotcha game, but one of those games where you can, like, earn money and build your clan, and one of those type of games. But you also have to kill people IRL. And it's another one of those anime where the main character kind of got into the situation completely by accident. So, but character development was really good for this too. Because at first he was, your cowardly little pissant. But along the way, he's like, you know what? No, I gotta fight for myself and fight for these friends I'm making to try and survive, make sure they survive, and make sure to put an end to all this. Now, what really upsets me about this is that there hasn't been a declaration for a season 2 yet, because it did leave open for a season 2 by the end of season 1, and man, I really hope we do get a season 2 because the show was just so good. Like, it's another one of those that I think, like 12 episodes, something like that? Not even, it was 11 episodes long. But it was still just so, so good. And I would highly recommend it to anyone who, likes the kind of survival. It's not really horror, but survival definitely. But there's some bloodshed, so I guess you could call it horror. A little bit of fan service to it. Not ecchi, but fan service to it, because, like, the first girl he runs into is quite a bit of something, that's for sure. But yeah, it's one of those that's on the shorter side, so definitely worth checking out and all that shit. And I would mention Day Day Live since that's on my list of completed shows, but that's only season 1, and I need to finish seasons 2 and 3 before I can give a full review on it. So I'll just give the little quick cliff note of if you want to check out the first season and see how it is. It's worth it. It's a fun show. Ecchi, fan service, comedy, action, all that stuff. But that's only speaking off season 1. There's probably a lot of other elements to it over the next couple seasons. Suppose I'll see when I get back to it. Anyway, next one is going to be Deadman Wonderland, which... Sorry. Which, as far as Deadman Wonderland is concerned, I have mixed feelings. I really did love the show for as long as it went on. I think it's a shorter one, like 12, 20-ish episodes, something like that. Another one of those things where, main character gets assaulted or happens upon his powers. He got assaulted in his class, and, well, a lot of backstory there. But the TLDR of it is he gets thrown into an asylum where basically you have to fight for your life, and slowly along the way he discovers that not all is as it seems, and some people actually have some special abilities working with their power or working with their blood and stuff, for example. And, of course, there's betrayal and love interests in a way. But sadly, this is one of those anime that did not get a second season or a third, or an extension or anything, because I guess the animators didn't want to keep footing the bill for it, for how intense it got. So it's one of those things I need to go back and read the manga to try and finish the story, because it was really good. Like, between watching it and reading it, if you're gonna do either, I guess I'd say read it, but watching it still isn't that bad either, because there are some really good fight scenes in it. But that's all I can really say as far as that goes. Jesus, what is with my heartburn today? 2 seconds. Jesus Christ. Okay. And next up, we have an all-time favorite, Death Note. Do I really need to say much about this one? You know, kid in college, or is he in high school? I don't remember. Finds a book on the ground, finds out that it kills people, starts killing the bad peoples, and for some reason, even though bad people are dying, the cops are like, what's happening? Why are all these bad people dying? Guess we gotta investigate. Because, you know, for some reason they can't just leave well enough alone and be like, oh, bad people are dying. Well, let's just let that happen because, well, whatever. I mean, somewhere along the line, he loses his mind and starts killing innocent people, but that's only because they're coming after him. And then you also have the whole thing where there's demons and love interests and that kind of thing. Well, can you really call Misa a love interest? She was kind of more of a stalker type, but she was useful. It's another one of those shows, too, where when he did lose his mind, he became kind of a manipulative asshole. But overall, the show is still really good. 20-some-odd episodes, a couple of movies. I think one of the movies is just a recap, but actually, I think both movies might be a recap. I could be wrong. And then you have the Netflix adaptation, which I know this is a controversial opinion, but I actually really like the Netflix adaptation. If you look at it from the base of a horror movie as opposed to an anime adaptation, it was good. If you look at it as an anime adaptation, it sucked. So take that tidbit with what you will, but as far as the anime concerned, great stuff. Very, very good stuff. You know, not too long of a... I mean, it is a long watch compared to a bunch of these, like, 12-episode anime, but it actually has really good stuff as far as the story and character building and all that stuff. There are a couple of things that I wish would have gone different, but hey, nothing can be perfect, right? Anyway, I'm going to segue into the next one, which is Death Parade, and this is another one of those interesting, kind of flown under the radar type of shows. Because it's basically a game show, in a sense. You know, a couple of people die, they go to limbo, and they have to play a game to essentially unlock... It's either to unlock the truth about what happened before determining whether they go to heaven or hell, or just straight up to determine whether they go to heaven or hell. I kind of forgot which it was. You know, it's kind of one of those dark comedy kind of shows because there are some funny moments. It's also kind of a horror show because there's a lot of bloody moments. And the intro is just completely a different kind of contrast as opposed to the show itself. To, like, show the example. But, yeah. I don't really know what else to say about it, honestly. That's all that... Because the only thing that's, like, canonical throughout every episode is the main girl who ends up working with the rest of the main crew and all of their, like, deep thoughts and discussions about what happened throughout their own lives and whatnot. But, yeah, I can't really say much else other than that. So I suppose I'll just say, watch it, don't watch it. My answer for that would be watch it. It's a shorter one, so several hours of a good anime is always worth the time as far as I'm concerned. Which is why my reviews from here on, like you'll hear about soon, are gonna be just I'm gonna watch in chunks and then record my thoughts of those few episodes and just do it that way instead of typing everything, because honestly taking a break to type everything as I'm watching is just kind of annoying. So yeah, I'm gonna roll with that from now on, unlike how my first couple of reviews went for Code Lyoko and Promise Neverland. But next we're moving into Demi-chan wa Kataritai. Yeah, sure, that's close enough. Interviews with Monster Girls. It's another one of those short, under the radar shows that has a couple of fan servicey type of moments. Because I mean, come on, one of the teachers in the school, because yes, it's a high school based anime, is a succubus, and well, to quote Ron Simmons, damn. All right, enough of that. It's about this dude who becomes, I think he's a science teacher, who's trying to record his thoughts and records about all sorts of monster girls. You got your vampires, your Yukis, your invisible girl. I think there's an invisible girl. Obviously, your succubi, etc., etc., etc. And he grows kind of a unique bond with the vampire girl, but it's not unique, it's just odd. But it goes into a lot of the backstories of some of those girls and character development with a couple of them, because some of them are shy, some of them are angry, etc. It's like I said, it's one of those under the radar shows that definitely deserves more love. I wouldn't have minded a second season personally, but as far as thoughts on if somebody should watch it or not, it's another one of those that I say definitely, if you have the time, go check it out. If you like it, you do. If not, I apologize. But I say you should totally watch it. And what I see next on my list is going to be a whole spiel, so let's just Digimon. Digimon. So I'm going to go over all the Digimon knowledge I know in this quick little bit. Because you have your original Tamer series, which was 50, 60 some odd episodes, some in that area. I watched this like 4 times all the way through, and I loved it every time. So let's get that straight. You have your 8 kids going to summer camp, get sent to the digital world, and a whole bunch of craziness ensues. They meet new friends who originally they're afraid of, but eventually grow bonds with each other, hate each other, love each other, and it just progresses. Eventually they save the world once or twice. Save both worlds, for the record, once or twice, their world and the digital world. Spoilers, it's like 30 years old though, so who cares. Then you get into season 2, which still has the same 8 people from the original cast, just only 2 of them are shown frequently, because they used to be little kids, now they're more grown up into teenagers. So as the second series progresses, you have 3 to like 5 new kids, and as that show progresses, again, freaked out by new friends and having to partner up with them and develop bonds, and this time instead of regular Digivolution, there's Armor Digivolution, which is silly, but actually kind of cool, honestly. Then in the latter half of the season, we get, fusions, and that was honestly some pretty hype shit when I was a kid. And, you got your bad guys turning into good guys, and good guys being confused about their motives, and new friends that get introduced in like the last 5 episodes or something to try and save the world with the main cast, and reappearing villains from the first season who take on different roles or something like that. I only watched this like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, something like that, so it's a surprise I don't remember that well. But before I get into the third series, I'm gonna cut off and say within the last, like, I think around 2018, we started to get new movies fucking continuing off the original 2 series. We don't get to see the kids from the second series anymore because we're left to think they died, I think. And that's not even a spoiler because that happens in like the first 3 minutes of the first movies of Digimon Adventure Try. But the old kids get to meet a new friend. Not going to share my thoughts on that because by now you should probably know my thoughts on characters like her. And her Digimon partner is... Spoiler! Skip a couple seconds. Well, a couple minutes for the rest of this thought. Her partner turns out to be one of the main antagonists, as well as the rest of the government. Go figure, the government's the antagonist. Oh my god. And a whole lot of crazy shit unravels over the 3 movies that were shown. But a lot of really good fight scenes on top of that. Like, think of the animation from Digimon, the movie, which took place after the first couple series as well. I forgot to extend my thought on that, so I guess there's like 4 movies total, but the 3 are new. And the 3 continue off a, continual story type of deal. But after a lot of emotions and drama and going back to the digital world, and honestly though, Digimon Adventure Try was probably the darkest of the Digimon series, like any of them. It was just so adult and like so good. I know I say that about a lot of stuff, but Digimon Adventure Try, like, was just the perfect way to cap off the original Digimon series. And then my thought process on the other couple of Digimon seasons that I actually bothered to watch, the Tamers and wherever the 4th season was. Tamers was an interesting one, They find their Digimon partners, join them for fights in the real world this time instead of just the digital world. They use cards to power them up. Their digital evolutions still happen, just pretty much sporadically. And then they eventually go into the digital world and meet some friends and enemies and etc. 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 I'm running out of breath, so I'm just gonna cap off and say Tamers, while people give it a lot of flack, is a good one. Other than Digimon Adventures, the first 2 seasons in the movies, I'd say that Tamers is probably my favorite one of the other series. But then again, I also stopped watching after season 4, which on the note of season 4, that's when things got a little bit silly. Because not only did people get their own Digimon, well, no, people didn't get their own Digimon, they got their own Digimon spirits. They became the Digimon. And that's probably where a lot of fans, back when I was watching, died off, because it was a bit silly, because, they became the Digimon, and they got Digivolutions and fusions and stuff, but honestly, the 4th season was not that bad. It was weird. It was different. The story was kind of cool. the story seemed like something you'd kind of find out of an MMO or something. But, like, at least the first 4 seasons of Digimon in the movies, I can definitely, which season 2 also had a couple of movies, so that extended on that story, which I forgot to mention. But yeah, the first 4 seasons of Digimon at the least, I'd say to, if you're into that kind of thing, go and watch. Or at least the first 2 seasons in the movie, or movies, because those are definitely worth the watch. It's a lot to take in, because that's like hundreds of episodes and 6 movies, but it's still really good. Even to this day, I can watch it as an adult and love it. Anything else? Anything else? Nah, Digimon was basically trying to rival with Pokemon, and obviously they haven't kept up as far as video games go, but I think there's still an anime running, so that's cool, I guess. I don't know how good the latest Digimon anime have been at all, but if they're worth anything, you guys can tell me in the comment section, and maybe I'll check them out. But as far as Digimon as a whole goes, can't go wrong with any of them that I've seen, at least. Yeah. Anyway, next up we have Dimension W, which that's, oh god. No? Okay, thought I was gonna sneeze. We have Dimension W, which was another one of those shows that I don't remember too well. I only watched it like 2 or 3 years ago, but it's another one of those kind of under the radar kind of shows, like I was saying, and I don't remember the exact synopsis or the story or anything. I think like an android girl who was supposed to be defective, but she was a lot more useful than initially let on, kind of like Clockwork Planet and that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't remember a whole lot about this one. I know there was a lot of good fight scenes and it was a pretty good storyline, but other than that, I can't exactly give my thoughts any further. So I very much apologize about that. So I guess I'll leave that as a quick one, quick little minute review of. I don't remember a lot on it. I remember it was really good though, so give it a chance. I can't guarantee if you'll love it or not, but give it a chance at least. I enjoyed it, as I recall. So next is going to be another all-time favorite kind of show in Dragon Ball. And it's another one of those where I'll cover everything. Canonically, Dragon Ball to Super, obviously you can't go wrong with all of them. That's a lot of episodes, like probably somewhere near 300 or more. But, you start from your, kind of childish comedy action show from Dragon Ball back in the 80s, which still had a lot of good fight scenes and moments as far as, characters, character development, and all that stuff along the way from episode 1 to the end, where, and as a kid, Goku killed a lot of people, for the record. A lot of people. Then you move into Z, where a lot of those characters from Dragon Ball got either nerfed or forgotten about. Launch! But obviously Z is the one everyone remembers because of moments like Goku versus Vegeta and the Raditz thing and the Piccolo and Nappa thing and Chaozu and Nappa. But again, as a whole, filler included, honestly, Dragon Ball Z just kind of capped off where Dragon Ball left off and was one of the better things about my childhood. Dragon Ball Z was so good I went back to watch Dragon Ball, which for the record there was like 3 or 4 Dragon Ball movies. I'm not sure if those were canon or not, but there was like 17 Dragon Ball Z movies that most of which aren't canon. Which, speaking of not canon, before we get to Super, I'm gonna go over GT, which was supposed to be the original continuation of Dragon Ball Z, which, honestly, people give a lot of shit to, but it wasn't that bad in parts. Like, the Shadow Dragon Saga, the Baby arc, and that kind of thing, that was pretty cool. The part where Goku, Trunks, and Pan went to space to collect the Dragon Balls and all that stuff, because Pilaf used the Dark Balls and sent them into the universe, and that was a little dumb, but... Which, for the record, they actually did keep something canon from that, because wasn't it GT that he made the wish to stay young forever, and that's how they got turned into children, and they're still children in Super? So, or was that the end of Dragon Ball Z that I'm thinking of? I'm pretty sure it was the beginning of GT, and they just kept that in. But again, you can comment me in the correct me in the comment section down below. But GT wasn't bad. You know, this is completely separate. Like, as far as all non-canon stuff goes in the Dragon Ball universe, all of it's still worth watching, in my opinion. You know, because nothing's really wrong with it. There are some dumb parts of Dragon Ball GT, but even the dumb parts aren't horrible. You know, a couple of decent fight scenes, even from the stupid moments. But if you don't want to take my word for that, then, believe other people's beliefs if you want. Can always check it out, skip a couple episodes here and there if you don't like what you're seeing, and get back to the good stuff. But we'll cap off the Dragon Ball discussion with Super, of course, which only had its end recently. And it's probably getting a new season, because obviously the manga continued, so people are gonna want to see more anime-wise, and the Tournament of Power was good, but the manga apparently got better. So if Super doesn't continue in anime form, I'll probably also continue in the manga. Kind of like with Deadman Wonderland. But obviously Super has some really dumb filler moments as well. You know, a couple of ridiculous things like Goku being a farmer in the first episode, and, well, that doesn't last very long now, does it? I've been ranting about Dragon Ball for like 5 minutes now, and I think it's obvious enough to say it's one of the highest rated anime genre of all time, or genre titles of all time. So, I mean, come on, why wouldn't you watch it? It's not like it's One Piece and it's 1,000 episodes long. Which I honestly will watch One Piece one day myself, but probably not all of it. I'll probably skip filler and watch it, or see if I can find a montage of all the greatest fight scenes and try to catch up to it, or something. But we'll get to all of that later. Need another drink before I continue. But yeah, obviously Dragon Ball is one of those things that in its entirety people should watch. Even if you have to pace yourself. I'm just gonna have this be another quick minute review, because I never actually finished it. I watched most of it, but I don't think I finished it. Is another children's anime from back when I was a kid, like, you know, Metabots, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon, the original Digimon, and all that kind of thing with Duel Masters, and Duel Masters was fun. You know, it was a different take than Yu-Gi-Oh! And that kind of thing. Honestly, I still want to finish the GBA games for the channel over on the Blazer King and stuff. But as a show, It was it was decent for its time. There was a lot of references and memes and stuff. The dub was just whack, as people would say. But yeah. Again, I say that way too much. If you can find it and you're like stoned as shit or something, go check out Duel Masters. Not that bad. But now we'll get to another one that's kind of newer. Dungeon ni de wo motaramero no wa mashi gitero daro ka. I have no fucking clue if I pronounced any of that correctly, but it's what's wrong with picking up girls in the dungeon. Which is focused around our hero, Bell. Bell? Is that his name? I think that's his name. And his goddess Hestia. No, that's not a kink thing. It's literally a goddess. The goddess Hestia. Because the show is about goddesses and gods and people who worship them and fight for them and explore dungeons and stuff. Kind of like a Sword Art kind of dungeon crawler type of anime. But I can't even say not as intense. But this is also only running over the first 2 seasons and the OVAs, so I'm just going to have this be a quick little tidbit as well. So, picking up girls in a dungeon has a lot of moments, you know, your ecchi, your fan service, your comedy, your action, your love interests, your rivalries, etc., 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 your character development, backstory. It's basically everything you would want of a really good show. Because this is a really good show, despite it seeming like it's kind of risque. It's a really, really good show, and I need to watch season 3, and I'll get my full review on season 3 after I watch it. Don't worry about that. But, as far as the first 2 seasons and the OVA go, like, 100% worth the watch. Like, totally worth the watch. The characters are enjoyable. A lot of moments are enjoyable. There are a couple of moments that are kind of like, I don't root for you and I want you to die, but I don't think a lot of characters actually end up dead. I think a couple might, but I don't think a lot do. Sorry. It's a great show. Should totally go check it out. You know, I think with season 3, it's maybe 40 episodes, and I think there's a movie to it. Yeah, there is a movie to it. But yeah, all that combined, like 40-ish, maybe even 50-ish episodes throughout every season. I still haven't seen season 3, like I said. And a movie. It's all totally worth it. Completely enjoyable. Go check it out. You foo. And, oh boy. This is going to be the last one in the D category, going into Durarara. 4 seasons long. All are like, what, 12, 20-ish episodes, something like that. Well, the first season is 20 episodes. The other 3 are like 12. So that's 60-ish episodes of goodness. And I mean that literally. It's a great show. Has, like a couple of the other anime I've mentioned in this episode alone, has a lot of great moments involving character arcs, development, twists, turns, mystery, action, some comedy, great rivalries between characters, some things to use your head for and think about here and there at times. Because there are times in the show where you're going to be staring at your screen and be like, what? and not even have a clue as to what just happened until the next episode, but like, this is one of those shows that for years my friends were telling me I needed to watch, and when I eventually sat down to do it, I loved every minute of those 50, 60 some odd episodes. So, this is another one of those cases where I say, go check it out. You'll love it. Absolutely adore it. I did. You should. Unless you, like, don't have a soul or something, because you know, there's a lot of really cool things about it. A couple of depressing parts, couple of everything, really. Ah, God. Alright. Anything else to go over about that show? Not really. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. It was like 3 years ago I watched that, I think. Maybe even longer, so. Honestly, I can barely even remember what years I watched certain things because of, like, I could probably go in to see if I marked down the specific dates, but meh. So basically, it's another one of those times where everything I've mentioned on this list is worth your time, in my opinion. So comment down below about the things I mentioned previously if you have any anime recommendations for me to check out yourself that I have not gone over yet, but I might still go over in the next like 20-ish letters. I don't even know if I have anime to fill every letter, so I'm not going to say 22 and say the obvious thing, because I might not even have that many letters left. But with that being said, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to both channels, ring that bell like Facebook, follow Twitter and Twitch, because I stream every single day. And until next time, has been the Blazer King signing out. Ta-ta for now. Peace. Oh, with King's Critiques. Forgot to mention that part.